Hey, babe.
Hi,
How are you?
I'm very well. How you doing?
I'm doing not too bad. It's good
Good.
to see you again.
You too.
Welcome to Tarek Talks as always. It's always a pleasure having you.
Thanks. I'm very privileged to be here.
Wow, privileged.
Very, yeah.
I mean, I am royalty, so. How's your week been?
um, yeah, it's been okay. Actually, it's been really good.
Yeah.
But I had a bit of a thing this morning with
Oh,
one of my kids, so I was in a bit of a bad mood.
uh-oh.
But yeah, I'm over it
To set
now.
you up for the day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just
Are they
teenagers,
not?
isn't it?
They're not listening. I mean, teenagers, you never. You don't know where their mood is, number one, and it changes on a regular basis.
Listen, every day. It
Yeah.
can change several times a day. It's mainly to do with just the way that they speak to me. But
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, they don't listen, and then it's just the disrespect as well.
We
Yeah,
don't live for that. We're
no,
not. We're not here
no,
for it. No,
not at all.
no. So teenagers back there in the camera world,
Listen to your
in
parents.
it, manners is key. Well, it's good that we're talking about family today because
Yeah,
then we can really discuss about how they make us feel, and a lot of people say they're important to us, which they are. They are important to us, and we love our family. But they always comes ups and downs, and a lot of friends that you speak to or like people you come across, they always feel that the opposite's family is nicer and calm, and oh, they're not like my family, and really we're all more or less the same, innit?
yeah, definitely. I find like families can be quite tricky.
Yeah,
There's the nice side, and the side that I always look at is other people's families. Oh, you lots are all close and stuff like that.
right.
We don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, but yeah, they can be. My family's quite dysfunctional and
Yeah,
can be toxic at times. Not my brothers,
right.
sisters, that kind of thing. And yeah, they can be tricky. The managing the relationships within a
Each other.
family. Yeah,
Is it?
yeah.
Well, I feel that's the same with my brothers and sisters. Like there is obviously ones that I get along closer with, and there's ones that we are just going to be nice to each other, and that's just that. But we would have conflict, but it would never be. I don't know. It would never be like
Well, there's always conflict. I think there's always going to be conflict. It's how you
Mm.
manage it. I mean, how many brothers and sisters do you have?
So I have two older and a twin sister.
Oh,
Yeah, and a lot of people feel that me and my twin sister would be the
close.
closest,
Yeah,
but we're totally separate and apart and totally different. And then I'm the closest with the middle brother, who is 8 years older, and then the oldest one. I'm close, but I'm not that close. Like he went and moved to Dubai when we were like me and my sister were 9, 10,
yeah.
and didn't come back until we obviously saw him, but it didn't come back until like we were 16, 17. So there was a
Okay.
whole gap
Big chunk
that
that you missed. Yeah,
that we missed.
yeah,
And yeah, obviously we kept in contact, but it's not the same, right? When being at home
yeah,
and being in someone's presence, they don't really know who you are anymore. Obviously, as a teenager, you're changing.
yeah.
So then that just created a gap
And
even
different
bigger.
dynamics as well, because he's probably
Yeah,
remembering you from when you're little kids, and then you're these
yeah.
different people now. So was it quite hard for him to interact with
Oh,
you?
totally. I remember when
Yeah,
he first came back, and I was going through changes myself,
hmm,
and obviously my mannerisms started to change, and I was trying to figure out who I was, and it
yeah,
wasn't clear. And it's obviously back in those days, he's a lot better now, but back in those days, it was just not accepted, kind of
yeah,
thing. And we would clash all the time. And there was a whole, like, whenever anything would happen, my parents would take his side because, he's the oldest,
yeah,
first child, all that jazz. And I was just getting frustrated because I was like, but he will do this and blah, blah, blah. And you
yeah,
don't see, you always take his
yeah,
side. And then it was just this whole aggro.
yeah,
So for me, it got to the point where I was like, I don't want that in my life anymore. So
yeah.
I'm going to stay away.
Step back.
Do you know
Yeah.
what I mean? So
So
yeah.
you chose to like not engage as much with him,
Yeah,
but it's much better now.
it is much better
Yeah.
now.
Okay. So there's four of you then.
Four of us.
Yeah.
I live with my middle brother,
Yeah. I remember
and
that.
we
Yeah.
get on
Really
really
well.
well.
Yeah.
And to be honest, he gets on with everyone. Do you know what I mean? He's that personality, and everyone goes to him. So it's kind of nice. And then my sister, I would say we were close in secondary school. Yeah, like at the beginning, and then as we went into like year 8, year 9, it just started to like part, and she left home
Yeah.
at one point, and I didn't see her for like over a year, and that also caused like a whole drift.
Yeah.
Just a lot. Talk about dysfunctional. Yeah, there was do you know what? There's a
Yeah.
lot that happened back in those days, that really changed the way our family was. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
But you still talk to her now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
she just lives like 15 minutes away.
Oh, okay.
She comes, to my parents once
Yeah.
every so often. Like we do see each other, we're cordial,
Yeah.
but we don't really know about each other's lives.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those.
I'm like that with my brothers. I mean, there's 6 of us. So there's 3 girls and 3 boys, and I'm the eldest of 6. And so out of my brothers, I speak to 2 of them. One of them I haven't spoken to for 5 years over
5 years.
over an argument. And I did try to patch it up, but
Yeah.
you can't be the only one trying to bring something to the table. The other person needs to kind of meet you in the middle.
Oh, totally.
And there was just some things that I wasn't happy with how he was treating my mum. So I spoke up, and because I spoke up about it, he just went a bit funny and then just held it against me. And now he's had a child. I can't see that child. Not that I can't see the child. I don't have any interaction with that child because I don't see my brother on that level. But my other brothers and sisters, like I see their kids. I'm quite close to the middle sister.
Yeah.
We never used to get on when we were teenagers, and I used to get on with my youngest sister. We were really tight, but now I'm not close to my younger sister. It's like me and my other sister now are like really close. We were the ones that fought the most. But I feel like as we've gotten older, we've matured a bit more, and we just see things a bit differently now. And we just we deal with our disputes and conflicts a bit better now.
That's good. Was it the opposite way then with the brother that you haven't spoken to for 5 years? Like were you close, younger, and then now?
No, not really. I mean, we would talk and just have a normal brother and sister relationship. It wasn't necessarily close, but if he's at my mum's house, and I used to feel really awkward about it, but when he had a birthday party, I wasn't invited for his son, and my sister was like, "Oh, just come." I said, "You know what? I'm not going to come, not because I could turn up if I wanted to, and he couldn't do anything about it, but I don't want to put myself in a place that's got an energy. I don't want to if someone's not speaking to me, I'm not going to force myself there and make myself feel shit. I don't have to be around people that are going out of their way to make me feel a certain way. Family or not, I'm not putting myself in that situation.
You've also tried.
And I tried. I'm the only one who's tried. And what was it? One of my sister's birthdays a year ago, and he was there, and I was trying to say, "Oh, how's your son?" and stuff like that. And he just about grunted at me. And then I asked him another question about, "Oh, what day was he born in November?" And he just totally blanked me.
Really?
And then my cousin looked at me and was like, I said, "Look, I did try." And she went, "No," she saw that. She's like, "No, that's out of order."
Why would he blank you about that, though?
Because he's just got a point to prove. But he wants. I don't got time for people that want to hold on to resentment and stuff. If you don't want to sort it out, fine. I just can't keep putting my feelings on the chopping board. You know what I mean?
There's also a certain level of how many times you're gonna try.
Yeah.
And if it's not reciprocated or it's not going anywhere, then you might as well just stop because you are hitting a brick wall.
Exactly.
Not going
but
anywhere.
I felt like because he's my brother, I should keep trying. But I thought, well, I'm his sister. He's not trying with me. So there's a certain limit and I've reached that limit now.
Yeah.
That's it. Just because you're my brother doesn't mean that I need to be subjected to that. I'm not tolerating that.
I feel that comes to the saying where, family, you have to like them, don't necessarily have to love them. Or is it the other way around? Was it?
No.
Like you love them, but don't have to necessarily like them.
That's right. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because they are family, they're blood, right?
Because obviously I do love him.
Of course.
And of course I would want the relationship to be repaired.
Yeah.
But I don't even know what the argument was about now. It wasn't worth not speaking to him for 5 years, but that's not on me. That's on him now. He wants to carry that on, so I've got to let him be. And it's hard, but I have fallen out with all my brothers and sisters at one point, because I'm the type of person that if I see something I don't agree with, I will say it.
Yeah.
And they don't always appreciate that.
Yeah.
And and then we work it out, but this one didn't work out, obviously.
Didn't work out, yeah.
So that's fine.
So 6 of you.
6.
Did you say how many sisters was it?
3.
Oh, so 3 and 3.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
gosh,
there's
perfect.
me and my brothers are twins.
Nice.
The one that I don't speak to is a twin.
Right.
Then there's a girl. So it goes girl, boy,
Right.
girl.
So with the twin, it's not that, the twin's not talking to you, so I'm not going to talk to you.
He's going out of his way to not talk to me.
No. So you said the twin is one of the twins are not talking to you.
Yeah,
right?
one of the twins. Yeah.
So in terms of them being twins, is the other brother being like?
Oh
"Do you know what? I'm not gonna talk to
no!
her"?
Because what it was years ago, me and him didn't get on.
Oh my
God! But actually now, me and him, I've got an okay relationship.
Okay.
And actually spoke to him today. Actually,
Yeah.
But he's not taking any sides. Do you know what I mean? He's just like, okay, that's your feud, whatever, he's gonna have a separate thing. Yeah, so there's, because they have their own little feuds as well.
Oh,
It's
okay,
like
cool.
when I was growing up, my dad had feuds with his brothers and sisters, and I
Right.
always said, I'll never let that happen to my family.
Oh,
And then it's like,
that
shit
happens.
happens, innit?
It does happen. You can't really control it. Do you know
Not
what I
as, no,
mean?
you can't, It's out of my hands.
Yeah, and there's always going to be feuds with families. Do you know what I'm saying? What was I gonna? I was gonna say something. Give me a moment. Do you feel that there is like a whole like first child they're getting spoiled, or is it okay across the board? Like, have you all been treated fairly?
Hell
Hell
no,
no.
no way, no way. Oh my God, no. So like my mum and dad were divorced well, they split up when I was about 9.
Okay.
Then we lived with my mum for a little while, then mostly with our dad. And then when I
Yeah.
was 14, I ran away to live with my mum.
Oh,
And
okay.
anyway, so anyway, when we all eventually came to live with my mum, and my
Yeah.
mum was so much more relaxed than my
Yeah.
dad.
Yeah.
And as the first child, but when I was living with my dad, I almost became like, it's going to sound a bit fucked up, but I always became like the mum, the wife kind of thing.
Oh.
So I never was allowed to be a kid when my mum left. So I was like taking the fall for them
Right.
and stuff.
Yeah.
If they got in trouble, like we were kids, my dad was like hella strict. And
Yeah.
it was militant.
Yeah.
And so I never got to feel like I was a child. I was always like, had a lot of pressure on me. And now I forgot my train of thought now.
It's
Oh yeah,
happening.
when we
Yeah,
was
go
moving
on.
to my mum's.
Yeah.
So obviously I had my things that I had to do and stuff, but then I noticed that my youngest 2 siblings, so the youngest boy and the youngest girl, they got away. When I mean they got away with
A
things,
lot of things.
they got away
Yeah.
with stuff. They were allowed to smoke in front of my mum.
Oh,
They were allowed
right.
to. I wasn't really a smoker, but like I felt bad to smoke in front of my mum anyway, just out of respect. But they were allowed to do things that my mum just couldn't control them basically,
Right.
and I think she just kind of gave up, if that
Got
makes
you.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, they got away with so much stuff. Yeah.
What's the age difference?
So
Is it big?
I think there's 6 years between. So practically, my mum's got 6 kids, and she
Okay.
had like a kid every year, basically.
Oh,
So my
okay.
youngest sister is 6 years younger than me.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay, so it's not major, but there is like a little gap.
there's
'Cause
a little gap. Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say when it comes to like back in the day and um what? Well, not punishment. What's the word? Discipline.
Yeah.
It's totally different to now, right? And because my oldest is 11 years older than me, my sister, and then the middle was 8. So they had a different disciplinary situation than they feel we did.
Yeah.
Even though we still did get beat, they feel
Yeah.
like we got away with a lot more. Like they had it worse, and
Yeah.
if anything would happen, they would still get it worse. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
But they're saying you had it a bit easier.
Yeah.
Okay. I do agree with that to a certain level. I feel like the younger ones, they still got beat
Yeah.
or disciplined. And but if we just stepped a toe out of line, that's it straight away.
It's
There was
worse.
it was worse. If there was
Yeah.
no like,
Middle ground.
yeah, exactly.
I think that's what they mean.
Yeah, you had maybe they had more tolerance for you guys,
Yeah.
and you could get away with a bit more before you got licks.
True,
Yeah.
true. But
Yeah.
so the things that I witnessed, obviously, like was I would feel like, oh my gosh, like that would never happen now. But also, I
Yeah.
don't think that happened to me that bad. Like I would get chased with a wooden spoon, the belt, the situation. We live with it. This is how we discipline our
Yeah,
children.
back in the day, yeah.
Back in the day, but I did or like a slipper or whatever.
Yeah.
But that was kind of the cut off for us. But for the older, I feel like it was a bit
Worse.
maybe just a tiny bit.
Listen,
But,
man, I've got stories. I won't
I know
go
I've
there.
got
But
let's go into the no, but
Ooh.
let's go into the stories. Like I remember, actually, this is more about my siblings than my parents were like, or my dad was like, no, that's not right. So my brother that I live with now, he sprayed Raid in my mouth. He sprayed Raid in my mouth.
What
You
is
know,
that?
the incense, the ant
Oh,
spray thing, right?
stop
Because we were having
it.
this like argument. That's how
Oh my
that's how
God.
we would go back in it. Like it was mad. Like when we would fight, right? So my dad was like, "What just happened?" And obviously I told him, and he just went ham.
Oh,
And
gosh.
so that happened once, and I think one time something must have happened with my older brother, and he just got the iron board, and just like.
Who did? Your brother got the ironing, or your dad? What? It's
don't
not
even
even
know
funny.
if I should say it, do
No,
you know
no,
what I
say
mean?
it because I've got.
But
Listen,
do you know
I've
what I'm
got.
saying?
Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but it was like back in the it happened on a regular. Like it wasn't It was seen
It was
as,
norm,
yeah,
the
this is
norm,
how you
innit?
discipline your
Yeah,
child. Do you know what I
yeah,
mean? If they're not going to listen, they need to learn a
yeah,
certain way.
yeah.
Yeah, so it was mad. But I also,
Ooh.
my mum would chase me, and it was so funny because I thought I could run away, but we're in like a flat which was 2 bedrooms. There was no like up and down or
Yeah.
whatever, right? So I'm there running, and I'm thinking I'm gonna miss it, but I'm in the corner of my bedroom. I'm there, and I'm like, no, and you just had to get the lick. Do you know
Yeah,
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
And it's fine. Like it didn't like affect me or whatever, but it was the fact that, oh my gosh, like that was the life.
Yeah, because it was normalized. I mean,
It was,
my dad
yeah.
was a boxer.
Oh wow.
So, but he did deal with the boys worse than the girls. He used to hang them
Right.
by their throats over the banister. He used to, he had this slipper called an Olympus slipper. It was the
Oh
thickest, hardest rubber slipper.
yeah.
And we used to all get that, yeah. But
Yeah.
it was on our bare bums. Listen, that was pain.
Oh, I can imagine.
Pain. But there was other times when he would go too far, like
Oh
really go too
really?
far,
Yeah.
and just like so you talked about an iron,
Mm.
and no, I can think about that now about the slipper situation and laugh.
Mm-mm-mm.
And mum, I slipped my eyebrow, and my mum beat me with a wooden spoon, and it broke.
Oh
That's
shit.
minor,
Yeah.
but my dad put the gas cooker on and put one of my brother's hands over it. Yeah,
Stop it.
just choked my brother out
Oh
until he
my
passed out. Yeah,
gosh.
like really sick
Mad.
things. Yeah,
Yeah.
so families are effed up. Well, that generation anyway.
It
Oh my
was. It
God.
was mad. It
That's
was
some
major.
Caribbean kind of like discipline, but
Totally.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's
It
wrong.
is wrong. Yeah. I feel like that to a certain degree. Okay, like understand it, but also looking back at it, you don't have to go that far. Do you know what I
Exactly.
mean? You
We
don't
were
have to go that far.
petrified of him anyway.
Oh
He
my
didn't
gosh,
need to do
totally.
that. We
And
were
that's what they
petrified already.
want. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what they want. That's what they want. They want fear. It's
Fear.
all fear.
Obedience out of fear.
Yeah, and it's very unnecessary. I feel like, for example, now my nieces and nephews, they respect me just from the tone of my voice. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
To be like, if I'm saying it in a certain way, then I'm not playing with you.
Yes.
It's time for you to, like, for example, it's time for you to go have a shower. Let's go. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? But it's also the fact that they have fun with me. They play.
Yeah.
So there is moments where we are joking about and like ha ha. But like if a game goes a bit too far, then I'm like, no, that hurt.
Yeah.
And it's just the tone of voice that they
Yeah.
know. Oh, okay, this
He's
is
not
too far.
ramping
And it
anymore.
won't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It won't
But you
happen
don't
again.
even have to raise your voice, it seems. It's
Oh
just
no,
the
no, no.
tone, yeah.
Yeah, it's just the tone,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. So I did childcare as one of my
Oh.
qualifications.
Yeah.
And I worked in it for 8 years. So I worked in a private nursery, and I guess that's where I learned like how to deal with children. But it also allowed me to be aware of and observant of how each child is different, and each child needs to be treated differently. Do you know what I mean? So
Absolutely.
not everyone's going to get the same discipline. Not everyone's going to be like, you go to, for example, like back in the day, again, like to the corner or whatever. I don't know. Everyone is going to be treated differently.
Yeah.
So I know with my niece and nephew which one would react to a certain.
Yeah, and how they respond to that discipline.
Right.
So it might work for one and not the other.
Not the other, exactly. So it is just one of those things where you just observe it and see what works.
Yeah.
And I always say to like my parents now, because obviously things rooted back in the day is still there, so you still do the same thing. Do you know what I'm saying? But I say to them now, I mean, why are you raising your voice? You don't have to raise your voice. Like, it's just about, I don't know, being a bit lower or saying something differently or having a stern face. Like, it just changes the mood. So then
absolutely.
the reaction will be different. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, it's quite funny how things have changed from then to now. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, like, there's extremes. I
Yeah.
mean, like, sometimes, like, you do feel like fly kicking your kids sometimes.
Yeah,
You do,
yeah.
but you can't do that, obviously.
No,
But
yeah.
it's just, it is hard. But I just feel like that there's certain levels, mate, you just
Yeah.
can't go to. Like,
Yeah.
and I just feel like, any physical abuse or any physical discipline isn't really work. It doesn't really work, I don't think. Yeah.
So overall, family over anything?
No way. No, no. Because you can make your own family. Do you know what I mean? Because
can.
I've got extended family and friends that are like more my family than my actual
course,
family.
yeah.
And, sometimes I haven't always gotten well with my mum and stuff like that.
Yeah,
But
it
at the end of the
happens.
day, it happens. But it's life. It is what it is. But you can accept who you want in your tight circle. You don't have to just like take certain things just because they're your family. You know?
Totally. And I think to wrap it up, that's something with my extended family. Like, I love them, but I don't necessarily like them because there's a lot of things that they don't agree with. And it just reached a point in our lives where it's like, it's not going to work. So let's just leave it.
Yeah.
But I still care for you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, I hear that. Family. You either have them, it's your blood, or it's the ones you create. But we love them at the end of the day, don't we? It's all love here on Tarek Talks. Should we continue it?
Yeah, let's do it.
All
Yeah.
right, we're going to do a part 2. So stay tuned. Catch us next week for family part 2, all right? But thank you so much for joining us. See you next time. And always remember to be you, free and fabulous.